Before we begin, thank you very much to DJ Dark Lo-Fi Wave for joining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. I'm behind on my thank yous and shout outs, but don't worry, everyone is getting one. I've got the lists ready to go. Expect everyone to be properly thanked in a little more than a week. So thank you to everyone for your patience, and thank you for contributing, because it really is the reason I'm able to continue this daily slog that has continued for almost a year now. Thank you very much. Today we're going back to the very beginning of Beast Wars. Before the cartoon, before the toys were even on the shelves, we are looking at the very first fiction that was available for the franchise, and that is the original toy bios. Now, if you don't know, when Beast Wars started, it was conceived as a continuation of Generation 1. Optimus Primal was G1 Optimus Prime. Megatron was G1 Megatron. Now, obviously, the cartoon had different ideas, and it's a good thing it did, because it presented a far more interesting story and far more complex characters than the original cartoon did. However, we can look back at the original tech specs and the storylines that Hasbro dreamed up to actually see what the original direction was. Now, for the sake of brevity, we are only going to be focusing on the initial cast from the cartoon. Everyone else, they would have had time to adjust the bios and write things out so it fit more in line with what the show was doing. So we want to get to, just the basics, the very first ones that are going to be the biggest changes. And that starts with Optimus Primal. In fact, it starts with the Bat Optimus Primal from the 2-pack. As we can see, almost all full tech specs except for firepower, which is interesting because all he came with were swords, so I don't know where that 7 comes from. Alright, Maximal General. The Maximals and I have no choice but to stop Megatron and his Predacon minions before they destroy us all. Freedom may be the right of all sentient beings, but to protect the greater good, we must vanquish the Earth from these... We must vanquish the Earth from these evil Predacon creatures. Vanquishing the Earth does not sound correct. We need to vanquish these evil Predacon creatures from Earth. I think that's what you're going for, unless this is shattered glass and I'm not aware. It won't be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. Vanquishing an entire planet really isn't easy. You need to be a Dragon Ball villain for that kind of thing. So, verbiage aside, yeah, it sounds like the original Optimus Prime. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings and all that. What about Megs? Let's take a look at Megatron here. Alright, mostly full stats. His firepower is also a 7, but his courage and intelligence are a little bit lower than Primal's. That's definitely not... I mean, courage maybe, but intelligence, I'd definitely put him above Primal, I'll be honest. See, prosper or perish is the Predacon way of life, and we plan to survive by driving the Maximals into extinction. That bat-brained Optimus Primal thinks he can challenge our strength, but he has yet to feel the painful punishment I'll give him as I sink my teeth into his furry flesh. He may still be a robot on the inside, but on the outside, he's my lunch. Bat-brained is something I want to keep in my back pocket to call people. Oh my god, I love how hammy this is and talking in the first person. It's not even a bio, it's just them ranting. It's fun. Alright, so we'll move on to the toy line proper. Okay, now we've got the actual character designs going here. Alright, so he's gained 3 points in firepower, which is good because he has actual guns now. Move over, King Kong. Optimus Primal is ready to rock. The 90s. The heroic leader has biogenetically re-engineered his body structure into a gargantuan robotic gorilla. Cybernetically fused musculature has enhanced strength to super-powered levels. Shoulder-mounted Mega Blast missile cannons launch devastating attacks upon foolish Predacon invaders. While they force him to fight, they force him to win. When they force him to fight, they force him to win. Okay, I will accept that. So you can tell, like, between the King Kong part and the re-engineered body into a gargantuan robotic gorilla, they really were imagining that this was G1 Optimus Prime, but instead of a truck, he is now a gorilla, but still being the size he always was, which would make him gigantic. So we can see the direction there, even if it's not terribly clear. Cheetor, see, strength, intelligence, speed, yeah, about where everything needed to be on there. See, like a bolt of greased lightning, Cheetor strikes fast and strikes hard. Quiet and confident with incredible reflexes. If there is anything Cheetor is not, it's quiet. He is equally efficient when battling in robot mode or his artificially enhanced organic Earth form. Constantly stalks the jungle in search of Predacon enemies, daring them to challenge him in his laser-powered quasar cannon. Okay, so this is mostly in line. This actually sounds like Cheetor outside of the quiet part. You know, and okay, so it emphasizes his speed and his boldness in challenging Predacons. Yeah, that's mostly correct. Rhinox. Oh, that box art. Oh boy. Intelligence is way too low. He's probably the smartest on the Maximals, so that's off. Firepower also off. Of course, this was when he didn't have a chain gun of doom. He had literal chains. See, the ground shakes with a terrible thunder as jungle trees snap like twigs. The noise draws closer in the cloud of dust and dirt. A herd of stampeding elephants? No, it is Rhinox, defending his territory defending his territory from Predacon attackers. Sorry, this is very small text. Courageous and cunning, has never backed down from battle, nor been injured in any way. Well, that changed in the Beast Wars, didn't it? Not even double-barrel laser cannons can cut through his triple-thick steel-plated skin. If he comes your way, run for cover. Fast. He's only got a speed of 3. I don't think I have to be all that fast, really. I think that might be an exaggeration. Let's see. Yeah, we can tell. Very different. Alright. Rattrap. Let's see. Stats about... I'd say about right. Yeah, he could keep up with Cheetor in a few of the episodes, so that speed of 8's not too off. Maybe the skill needs to be a little bit higher. Alright, scouring city streets for Predacon enemies, Rattrap maintains his strength by feeding on grunge and grime from any wretched refuse he may encounter along the way. There are no cities in Beast Wars, and there's no grunge and grime to eat. So you can definitely tell they imagined a very different story when they conceived this toy line. A top-notch shoulder. Yeah, he's very good, very good. Rotator cuff, very strong. A top-notch soldier. His fellow Maximals rely on his reconnaissance reports to locate enemy outposts. They respect him, but they wouldn't dare to share his meals. Respect is, well, if you ask Cheetor and Dinobot, that's certainly not, I don't think that's a word they would use. Alright, but yeah, definitely a very different take on the character. Dinobot, okay, so we'll finish off the Maximals with him, because this is going to be interesting. He got beaten up a lot, so endurance is 5, I think feels right. He's a melee fighter, firepower of 6 works, skill should be higher. He is more battle ready than that. Intelligence should be a little bit higher too. Speed should be lower. He shouldn't be as fast as Cheetor. All right. As if torn from the pages of Earth's prehistoric past, a vicious velociraptor breathes again. It's not scientifically accurate and based more on Jurassic Park, but ignore that. I'm sure it's coincidental. But Dinobot is no ordinary raptor. He's a robot in disguise, battling beside his heroic teammates, the Maximals, armed with a spinning cyber-slash tail weapon and always hungry for battle. Optimus Primal considers him a natural combat expert who has clawed his way to the top one victory after another. He hasn't gotten to the top because his rank is only 6, but also no mention of him previously being a Predacon, no mention of anyone distrusting him. Yeah, that was completely out. So when they conceived the toy line, they wanted to make him a Maximal based on the fact that the Dinobots in G1 were good guys. So our new Dinobot should be a good guy. Okay, yeah, but the show took that idea that there's only one dinosaur who's a Maximal and ran with it to come up with the whole Dinobot, Dinobot and his torn loyalties thing. Brilliant use. Brilliant use. Let's move on to the Predacons. I think that's appropriate jumping off point. All stats are maxed except intelligence, which is wrong. Intelligence definitely needs to be maxed on him. If anything, I feel like Megatron's speed should be lower here. All right. Millions of years ago, Tyrannosaurus Rex ruled the Earth. Today, Megatron plans to do the same. Duplicating dinosaur DNA stolen from human research labs, the evil leader has re-engineered his body structure and equipped it with fearsome high-tech firepower. Poisonous paralyzer fluids blast from his gaping jaws, while his powerful pincer claw can cut an enemy in half. Be afraid, Earthlings. Be very, very afraid. Let's go over a few things here. Number one, there's no human research labs because we're in the ancient past, and if you believe the original story editors of Beast Wars, we're in a post-apocalyptic story where humanity was wiped out about 300 years ago. So there are no labs to steal dinosaur DNA from. Let's see. Never used any paralyzing fluids, never used a pincer claw, and beware Earthlings, as we established. There's no Earthlings left outside of the proto-humans, and they were capable of beating Megatron. I still need to talk about that episode one day. Okay, I need to work on my Beast Wars episodes review so we can talk about that too. Again, it does strike true that this does feel like, yeah, they were playing toward G1 Megatron becoming something else. And obviously, very different depiction in the show. Scorponok. All right. Now, Scorponok's characterization in the cartoon was weird because they weren't sure if he was like a techie or a dumb grunt. It kind of went back and forward between the two, but for the most part, he was competent. Kinda. So, intelligence of 5, right down the middle. That's probably right. He was sub-commander for the entirety of Season 1, though, so rank a little bit low here. Alright, Desert Attack Commander. The searing summer heat of the Mojave Desert turns into a dry, barren wasteland. Beast Wars took place somewhere in Africa, by the way. A place where only the strong survive. A place the vicious Scorponok calls home. With hidden robotic technology incorporated into its scorpion body structure, this desert attack specialist surprises enemies 3 different ways: by launching its robotic bee, firing a 2-shot missile blast, and by using its terrifying tail for poisonous cyber strikes. It's weird to me that all the pronouns are neutral on him, almost like they weren't sure if this was going to be a male or female character when they produced them. Pretty much, like, this one is actually, like, held up pretty well outside of, like, there's no deserts in Beast Wars. There's canyons, there's rocky terrain, but nothing I would call just, like, a strict desert. Except, no, someone out there is going to catch me. The polar regions are considered a desert because a desert is not defined by how hot it is or how much sand there is defined by how little rain it gets. And that does include polar regions. Ha! I know geography. Or geology. Which is it? I know what it is, I just don't know which one it is. I am not doing myself any favors here. Let's prove I know what I'm talking about, then immediately make an idiot of myself. That's YouTube life. Moving on. Oh, this one's really fun. Ninja Warrior Tarantulas. All right. Intelligence 4. Wow, that changed. He's the mad scientist of the whole group. Let's see. Endurance, rank, everything else seems to be pretty much spot on. This guy shouldn't rank very high. Let's see. We'll get to the Ninja Warrior part of this sooner or later, but let's go over the bio first. An 8-legged master of the martial arts, this ninja nightmare slashes his way through battle virtually unstoppable. The heroic Optimus Primal suspects him of being responsible for the disappearance of numerous Earthlings, and recent rumors suggest the existence of giant cocoons where Tarantulas may store his unfortunate prey. He must be stopped before he spins his web of terror across the galaxy. So let's put aside the fact that in this bio, Hasbro wanted him to eat humans. But let's focus on this Ninja Warrior thing. Now, this is old school Ninja Warrior. He's not climbing the warped wall or anything. Yeah, so Hasbro imagined him as a ninja character. And now, get this right. So it's a gigantic tarantula. Okay, that's not the most stealthy thing for a ninja. But he can climb walls, and he can be silent, and he can stalk around in the dark. So a spider is not the worst choice to actually make a ninja out of. It's just super weird to think of him as like a hand-to-hand combatant, you know? That doesn't feel quite appropriate here. Oh, this might be the weirdest bio of them all, simply for the part where like he's catching humans and eating them. All right, Terrosaur. His rank is 6, which I think Megatron would never allow. It should be way lower than that. The endurance is right though. He got blasted quite a bit. All right, striking from the sky like a demonic dragon, this organically enhanced robot warrior is seldom seen until it's too late. Megatron personally supervised his genetically engineered creation, ensuring his devastating aerial combat efficiency. Truly a terror, he is known to ingest entire flocks of birds by flying open-mouthed through their flight pattern. So his big evil trait is that he eats flocks of birds mid-flight. What is with them just like eating things? Why are the Predacons all just eating things? Let's see. Megatron personally supervised his genetically engineered creation. That's probably wrong. That probably didn't happen. And of course, no mention of how much of a traitor he was or an inherent coward he was. Courage at 7, that's way too high. Unless he was super powered or had backup, he chickened out of just about every situation or tried to deal his way out and paid for it. So yeah, that's another one that's way off. And we're going to end on our favorite boy, Waspinator. I had a feeling this is probably going to be one of the weirder ones. Let's see. Strength, probably not an 8. Intelligence, definitely not a 5. Endurance, definitely not a 5. All right, so where do we go from here? All right. Like a rattlesnake's tail before an attack, a chilling sound buzzes in the distance as if forecast approaching danger. Suddenly, from the sky, the giant wasp appears, revealing its monstrous face and bulging eyes as it streaks down for an aerial attack. The Waspinator launches its secret wing missiles, striking the helpless victims below with the poisonous power of a robotic cyber sting. There's no character here. There's literally no character being explained here. It's just what he does. It doesn't explain who he is, how he acts, how he thinks, how he relates to the other Predacons. It literally just says, this is what he does to attack. It sounds competent, which is already not what we know Waspinator for. Let's want to point out, if we go back to Terrosaur, his endurance is a 4, while Waspinator's is a 5. Here's the thing, depending on how you view Waspinator, his endurance should either be a 1, or it should be a 10 plus. Because yes, he's easily blown apart, but he is incredibly hard to kill at the same time. So, it's an interesting little dichotomy you got going on here. Yeah, intelligence should probably be lower. Intelligence should definitely be lower. It was a very different concept they had going. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot here that would have put them on modern Earth and would have put them facing off with humans as well as Maximals. And, yeah, clearly things like downsizing them, putting them in the past, all of that, none of that was on the table. So it's interesting to me to go back and look at these old bios and find out exactly what these toys were originally intended for, just so you can better appreciate what the show did with them and how much it took advantage of this basically blank slate that a lot of these are to create something incredibly special. So that's our little history lesson for the day. The earliest of Beast Wars stories, very different beast, so to speak. Didn't mean to make a pun there. We'll go with it though. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And stay tuned. Always more on the way. The daily struggle continues. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.